What's good, YT family? It's your brother ELI coming to you now with a KVA video. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Much appreciate the love. Much appreciate the support. Make sure that the likes are just as powerful as the views. I definitely appreciate the views. I definitely do. I definitely appreciate everybody who clicks on my videos. But just make sure to like the video. Show some love to your man. But we're going to start with the video. So today, I watched the interview with Tariq Nasheed. Shout out to Tariq Nasheed. Shout out to Wack 100. Shout out to Adam 22. And they were talking about FBA, like pretty much. I think Tariq was kind of like confronting Adam in a way, respectfully, you know what I'm saying, respectfully. And he was talking about how the difference is between blacks coming from other countries to America versus blacks who are from America, born and raised. And I just kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit because I feel like we don't talk about this enough. I don't even think anybody's ever talked about this, of how black people are so divided within each other that it's impossible for us to even come together as a unit and actually, create peace within each other, right? Because we have so much division on all fronts and all facets and all ways that it's just we all know it comes from, a lot of times it comes from slavery. A lot of it comes from historical colorism and stuff like that. And, colorism isn't just in America, right? It's all over the world. But America, black Americans, us, we have, dealt with it. I truly feel like, if not the worst, close to it. I know there's still a lot of colorism that goes on in the Caribbean, around the Central America, around, the DR and Puerto Rico and, the islands, Jamaica and all that stuff like that. Colorism is just, it's just omnipresent everywhere. And I just wanted to say that it's something that it has to change for us to even grow as a people, right? Because even if you take, let's say, you can take black Americans from, it doesn't even matter where you're from, New York, Chicago, LA, Texas, wherever. The divide with those black people, a lot of it stems from poverty, right? Just being not able to, support your family, not being able to provide for your family and stuff like that. And even places in the suburbs, right? You have black people everywhere on this country and everywhere in the world. You have black people, some rich, some poor. And the thing is, and you still have the middle class. The thing is, we have not been able to establish a nationwide respect for each other, a nationwide love for each other, a nation, like a conglomerate of love for each other that we just have not been able to get, ever. I want to say ever since, the days of the Martins and the Malcolms and stuff like that, there has yet to be a unity within each other, right? Like, you go in, let's say, I live in Chicago. Let's say, I don't want to say you never, but there's a divide even between, suburban black people in Chicago and then, inner city black people in Chicago. It's a complete difference in culture, complete difference in, everything, interaction. And it's not necessarily of our doing. It's not necessarily that we are at war with each other. It's just the fact that we just come from two different places. A lot of times the places that I don't want to say everyone, but you know what I'm saying, certain places where the education might not be as good. Um, the financial aspect of things might not be as good, meaning like, the access to jobs, the access to resources, the resources in the education system. I remember when I lived in a city, not in Chicago, but, in Jersey. And I firsthand witnessed like how the inner city, when it comes to resources is, as far as like, and when I say resources, I'm not talking about like, this was, I'm kind of showing my age a little bit. This was early 2000s. So there was no iPads, or there was no, there was no iPads. There was no, cool, sleek laptops or anything like that. And but at the end of the day, the technology was still up when it came down to when I lived in, the suburbs of Jersey, of Trenton. And then once, I lived, closer into the inner city, into a, majority black neighborhood, the resources were not there. Books were outdated. You didn't have no laptops and no computers and stuff like that. The field trips and stuff like that was limited. But when I went to the suburbs, it was like, it was kind of like you were groomed for success. And that's what happens a lot of times in the inner cities and in certain places in certain ways. And this is not just black people who are victim of this in a way. You also have, Latino people as well. You got Latino people, or Hispanics if you use that word. Some lower class whites. It's all over. It's everybody, right? Poverty doesn't have a race. And that's another thing. That's another thing that has so plagued us as well, is that black people have been attached to poverty. Like the stigma of black is, to be poor, to be, not, not as educated. And it's a stereotype. We all know that's true, because we all know black people are one of the most brilliant people, creative people, intelligent people on the planet. But it's a stereotype, and the media plays such a big part in that, right? And it even shows in certain, in certain media, such as like Black Panther. That's the reason why I kind of used this thumbnail, because I felt like it was a subliminal message that was even portrayed in this movie, where you had T'Challa, who would be considered the token black or the suburban black, right? He grew up with his mother and his father in the house, and, he grew up around family, culture, tradition, and he had a certain confidence, and some people would call it arrogance, about himself due to the fact that he grew up right. He grew up the right way, and this is not to make him seem weak, right? Because even I see myself a lot in that character as well, because I grew up with a father in the home. I grew up with a loving mother in the home. I grew up with a strong father in the home, right? A strong father, a very driven father. And I'm appreciative of that. And then I also grew up with a very loving mother, a very, nurturing mother. And a lot of my friends that I grew up with didn't grow up with that. Didn't grow up with, two parents in a household. Some of my friends haven't even met their fathers, right? And this is in the suburbs. This ain't even in the inner city what I'm talking about. This is even in the suburbs, right? And I see going to Killmonger, the opposite of that. Someone who has been, kind of, I don't want to say at a disadvantage, but he hasn't been given those same privileges, those same things that he should have been given, right? A family, he only had his father, right? And, he only had, it doesn't really speak too much on his mother that much. And he grew up in the inner city. He grew up in the hood. He grew up in the streets. So it's like, once those people meet, once those people, come together, even though they look not exactly like, but they look alike, right? They're both black. they're both men. They're from two different universes. They're from two different worlds. Two different things. Like they just see the world completely differently. And this is why you kind of seen where T'Challa was more balanced as a man, right? He was more balanced. He was more, he balanced the humble hand and the iron fist a little bit more a little bit better than Killmonger. Killmonger was angry. Killmonger was upset. Killmonger felt betrayed, and he had to create himself, right? Killmonger had to be created through struggle and pain, and T'Challa just grew up into manhood, right? He was given manhood from his father, a birthright, right? And these are things on how we are all so much divided in today's world, in today's America, where we're not all given the same privileges. And that's why I thank the Almighty every day for the lifestyle that I lived in the family that I grew up under, and the childhood, right? And even if it was funny, me and my dad, we talk about this all the time. He would say he didn't even have a long childhood as me, right? He would say, he had to become a man a lot earlier than 18 and 21. And some people, like some people, how you supposed, I would say a man is supposed to be groomed into being a man, right? Or a male is groomed into being a man, right? From his family, from his father, from the people that's around him. But some people, they don't have that support system, so it's I ain't gonna say it's impossible, but they go through a lot more struggles. They go through a lot more pain. They go through a lot more things because they're not being guided. They're not being taught. So a lot of it is trial and error, right? And this is where, you start to see guys go to the streets and they try to find love out there when we already know it ain't no love out there, period. So it's, it's very much a privilege, and I'm privileged and I'm thankful for that. But the job that we need to do now as men is now create a bond and create more love and respect for each other. I was just talking to my pops the other day, and, we were talking, and I was telling him, like, man, I always felt like older black men was always on my back and, like, always, like, calling me negative things, or not calling me negative things, but I feel like when you grow up in a black community, and, for anybody listen, I know you can attest to this, where the older black men in your family, they always try to find a way to, like, not belittle you, but make you seem like lesser than them, or less man than them, or less tougher than them, or less just like. And like I said, everybody put it in the comments if maybe I could be tripping, but I've always had older black men always call me little this, little that, oh, you a boy, or you don't know this and that, da-da-da-da-da, right? But then I had asked one of my Hispanic homies, because I've noticed something. I was like, bro, why do y'all call y'all son Poppy? And he's like, oh, it's like it's kind of like a term of endearment. Like, it's kind of like a term of endearment. It's like like, I don't know how he explained it, but he was just saying, like, oh, it's just a term of endearment. Like, we all know that he's Poppy, he's dad, he's the father, you know what I'm saying? But he just calls us that, you know what I mean? Just, kind of just like, boosting us up, you know what I'm saying, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And I was just like, wow, that's crazy, because, like, as black men, we never go through stuff like that. We never see stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know. That was just an example of just another, example of division that we just have within each other, right? You got black women going against their mothers, going against their daughters, you know what I'm saying, about stupid shit, about who, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, and that's a whole different conversation that I could speak firsthand on. Like, I've witnessed, you know what I'm saying, the evils that can make. But we are just so divided within each other. And, we have to come together. We have to come together. We have to build, you know what I'm saying, a strong, better foundation for each other that's beyond color, that's beyond age, and beyond where you from and how you talk, and your background and all this stuff like that. As black people, we need to come together as just one and understand that not everybody's going to be dealt a perfect hand. Even though if I had it, all my friends would have their fathers in their life. If it was up to me, I would want my brothers to all have the fair shake that I had, right? I was the only one that was living in the suburbs with my father. So I would love, all my siblings and all my family, and all my friends to all have the same experiences, to all have a childhood, to all have the beautiful things in life that I was blessed to have, right? Like if I could do that, I would truly do that. But now that I'm older now, I'm starting to see that, I'm the change, right? You're the change, right? We are the change that needs to be done for things to change, right? There's nobody coming to save us. We can talk so much about change, about wanting change to happen, but I mean, it's till now we have to realize that we are the people that's going to have to actually create that change within our own communities, and it doesn't have to be the inner city. Right? Because like I said, these same problems are happening even in the suburbs, even in certain places, like where you would think that there would be, more stronger family units. It's not. It's not. It seems to be a way of passage to, not grow up with your father in the home, not grow up with your mother in the home, and and where your communities don't provide the best things for your youth, like as far as education is concerned, as far as activities and stuff like that. Like these neighborhoods nowadays, they can't even provide those things unless you go to certain neighborhoods like the suburbs and stuff like that. But then we already know, if you even lived in the suburbs, that you're not even gonna be coming across a lot of black people in the suburbs, if at all, really. The more the richer the suburb, the less the black population, right? So, but even in that small black population in the suburbs, they're not even completely, a strong family unit all the time. So this is how this, this is deeper than just financial problems, or this is deeper than, monetary status. This is something rooted in our, culture, and it needs to change. Yeah, man, things need to change. Things need to get better. We need to finally start coming together as a unit. Definitely start supporting each other better, and understanding that, we're just all different. We're all coming from different places. We're all coming from different backgrounds and all this stuff like that. And, get back to, I don't really know how the old days is, but I can only hear so many stories and hear so many things that my elders say and all this stuff like that, man. And it definitely tells me that, bro, like, we are far from that. Far from that. But yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Hope everybody's doing well. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Holla at me later. Peace.